Ok, salut tout le monde, on va commencer. Voici le LMS. Ok, je suis Monsieur Gagné, je vais être votre enseignant pour ce cours. Monsieur Levac est l'autre enseignant. Malheureusement, il a des conflits pour aujourd'hui et je crois demain, donc il ne va pas être ici pour la rencontre, mais il va être disponible pour répondre des questions. Okay, so Mr. Gagne, I'm going to be one of your teachers. Monsieur Levac is the other teacher. Unfortunately, he's got conflicts for the next few days, so he won't be able to attend the meetings, but he is available for answering questions throughout the day. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to either of us. So the LMS is, I'll start with the LMS just because this is kind of where everything is going to get started. Chaque journée, autour de 9 heures, vous allez avoir les instructions pour la journée. Je vais toujours inclure le lien pour la rencontre. So the link for the Teams meeting will always be there. Vous allez avoir les liens pour les documents qu'on va utiliser pour la journée. So any files that we might need for the day or instructions will be listed in here. Et ensuite, je vais aussi inclure les Dropbox. Okay, so if you could refrain from emailing work, it'd be easier if everything is in the Dropbox. It just keeps things better organized for us. And especially because there are two teachers and we're going to kind of divide the marking up. If you can submit everything to the Dropbox, that would make life a lot easier for us. Je vais ajouter une vidéo ce matin après notre leçon qui va vous montrer comment ajouter un document à un Dropbox. Okay, so if you haven't used the LMS before, I will add a video in the newsfeed after this meeting, how to submit files to the Dropbox. It just makes everything easier for us. So please only submit work via the Dropbox. Ok, so si vous avez des questions, vous êtes bienvenus de demander des questions, soit oralement, so you can unmute your mic, ou vous pouvez écrire dans le chat. Normalement, quand Monsieur Levac est ici, c'est lui qui va répondre aux questions dans le chat. N'importe quel temps, quand je parle ou quand je donne des instructions, si vous avez des questions, vous êtes bienvenus de taper vos questions. Okay, so Monsieur Levac, while I'm kind of reading the lessons and providing the instructions, he'll kind of be monitoring the chat. So feel free to ask questions at any point in the chat. For the next couple of days without him, I will do my best to kind of keep an eye on the chat as well. Est-ce que vous avez des questions à ce point ici? Okay. So, on va... Ok, so on va commencer avec ce cours PowerPoint actuellement. Non, excuse, méchante chose. Sorry. Ok, so voici le document qu'on va utiliser aujourd'hui. Chaque journée, vous allez avoir un nouveau document qui contient tout le travail pour la journée. Okay, so each day, pretty much each day, you'll have a new document. In that document, all of the work for the day is contained. Il va avoir quelques projets de recherche. So, ce cours ici est basé en grande majorité sur des projets. Okay, so your mark is going to be based on a variety of different projects. So aujourd'hui, je vais discuter du PowerPoint. So I'll go through this PowerPoint. And then number one, vous allez remplir les tirets basés sur le PowerPoint. So if you want to open this document while I'm going through the PowerPoint, you're more than welcome to fill it out as we go. Otherwise, you can just open up the PowerPoint afterwards and fill in the blanks. Pour le numéro 2, il y a une vidéo. Vous avez seulement à visionner le vidéo. Okay, so you're going to watch this video. Ensuite, numéro 3, pour chaque phrase, vous allez répondre oui ou non si c'est quelque chose qui applique à votre vie. Okay, so for number 3, basically it's just answering yes or no if the statement applies to you. And then kind of based on the number of answers you provide, it kind of gives a sense of where you are in terms of your kind of citizenship. Pour numéro 4, on regarde aux sources fiables. Okay, so puisque on vit dans un âge d'information, être capable de se fier à l'information qu'on trouve sur l'Internet, sur les médias sociaux, il est très important. Donc, développer nos habiletés de penser critiquement au sujet de l'information est important. So, living in a digital age, right, we are kind of in this information age where it is very easy to kind of access all kinds of information. It's really important, and it's a really critical skill to be able to decide what information is true or not. Are your sources for information reliable or not? And so that's kind of what this exercise does. So Ben, oui, si tu veux, so Ben demande est-ce qu'on doit télécharger or download le document pour l'utiliser. Yeah, so you can, if you go to the document on the page, when you open it, there should be an option to download. Or if you want to just write your answers on a piece of paper and then take a picture and upload that to the Dropbox, you're more than welcome to do that. But if you have a computer that has Word on it, the easiest way might be to just download the document. Okay, so il y a deux sites web. Okay, un site web n'est pas fiable, l'autre est fiable. Okay, so there's two websites. So here there's allaboutexplorers.com. And for this activity, you're looking at an entry about Jacques Cartier, who is one of the earlier European explorers to kind of explore North America and Canada in particular. So there are some questions about him. And then ici, c'est un test ou une façon de penser aux sources d'information pour nous aider à décider si la source d'information est viable. So, est-ce que le site est récent, right? So, kind of recency bias, is the information up to date? La pertinence, how pertinent or how relevant is the information? So, les informations du site répondent-elles à vos questions? Est-ce que le site fournit toutes les informations dont vous avez besoin? So, does the site actually answer the questions you're trying to have answered? Does it provide relevant information? L'autorité, so l'auteur ou l'organisation est-il nommé? So, kind of authority or kind of expertise. Right, so do they actually name the author or the organization, or is it an anonymous post? Right, generally, you may want to question anonymous kind of information because, you know, if somebody doesn't put their name to it, then how can you trust or know that that person knows what they're actually talking about? L'auteur ou l'organisation est-il une autorité sur le sujet? So is the author or the organization actually an authority or an expert in that subject? This is maybe not quite so relevant anymore, but the .com or the .edu used to be a little bit more relevant in kind of figuring out if a website was relevant or not. But now it's easier to get websites with different endings, and so that's maybe less of a telltale sign. But you should be able to find an about me page or kind of about the organization page, and they should state what their expertise is. Précision, les informations sur le site sont-elles correctes? Peut-il être vérifié sur d'autres sites? Right, so if information is correct, you should be able to confirm or corroborate that information on other sites. So you should be able to cross-reference and find that that is actually true from other places. Il n'y a aucune erreur d'orthographe ou de grammaire. Again, if something is kind of well done, chances are there are editors and proofreaders, and so if there are a lot of kind of grammatical or spelling mistakes, that might be a bit of a red flag that this person or this organization or this web page is maybe not the most reliable source of information. L'objectif, est-ce que le site fournit des faits? So does it provide simply facts? Le site fournit des avis? Does it provide advice or opinions? Le site a un bias, so does it have a bias? Is it trying to kind of convince you of something one way or the other? Right, so asking yourself kind of all of these questions for the site is important. Okay? Et ensuite, pour le deuxième site web, encore au sujet de Jacques Cartier, voici le deuxième site, les questions à répondre. Faites votre mieux de répondre les questions, mais si vous avez lu l'article et vous ne pouvez pas répondre la question, n'inquiétez-vous pas, ce n'est pas un gros problème. So again, don't worry too much about being able to answer the questions. Some of these, especially the website that is unreliable, you may very well not be able to do that. Okay. Et encore, pour le deuxième site, faites certain de répondre aux questions ici. OK, so numéro 7. So ceci est un peu, juste un court scénario. So imaginez que vous vous levez un matin et vous trouvez qu'il n'existe point d'autorité. So imagine that you wake up one morning and authority or people in power no longer exist. Toutes les règles, les lois, les polices, les cours, les enseignants, directeurs et gouvernements sont disparus. So all laws, all rules, anybody that is in place to enforce those rules have all disappeared. So la réunion, on a peut-être un autre 10 minutes au plus. Si tu dois partir, Josh, aucun problème. Je suis en train d'enregistrer la rencontre et je vais le mettre sur le LMS. So I forgot to mention this, but I record these Teams meetings so that if you're unable to make it one morning or you have to leave, I will post these to the LMS after the meeting is over. So if you're unable to make it one day, don't worry about it. You're not going to miss the instructions. It'll just be posted as a video. Okay. Merci. OK, so quels sont les avantages de vivre dans une situation où il n'y a aucune autorité? So what are some of those advantages? Comment protégeriez-vous vos droits? So how would you protect your rights in a situation where there are no rules and regulations? Auriez-vous des droits? So the next question is, would you actually have rights? So if, anybody can do anything, take anything, steal anything, kill anyone, do whatever they want, do you have rights? And if so, how do you protect them? And what are some of the advantages? Et, je crois que ceci est la dernière. Yeah. OK, so numéro 8 est notre dernière question. So, il y a des caricatures et vous allez les examiner. So, there are caricatures or like political cartoons. So, les caricatures ont comme but de rendre un message politique au lecteur. Okay, so you can find these newspapers often have them. You can find them online, but these are generally kind of comics or cartoons that are meant to kind of put out a political message to the readers. Il était souvent utilisé pendant la Première Guerre mondiale pour persuader les jeunes hommes d'enlister en guerre. Okay, so they were very prominent during the First World War when newspapers and governments were trying to convince young men to enlist in the armies in order to kind of support the war effort. Ils sont souvent trouvés dans les journaux. Ils sont similaires aux memes, right? So they were kind of the forerunners to kind of current day memes. So vous allez répondre aux questions suivantes pour chacune des caricatures. Okay, so pour chaque caricature, vous allez répondre aux 4 questions. So qui est dans la caricature? So who is it that is in this drawing? Quels sont les symboles employés? Quel est le message de la caricature? So what is it trying to get across? And then comment est-ce que ce message est illustré? So how do they try and get that message put across? Okay, so here are kind of the 3 different cartoons or caricatures. And so for each of those, you're going to answer those 4 questions. Okay, so ça c'est le document, le travail pour aujourd'hui. Okay, so quand vous allez avoir complété ceci, j'aimerais que vous sauvez votre document et vous allez le remettre dans le Dropbox. Okay, so now not all of this stuff, we will provide you feedback on all of these assignments, but not everything is going to be worth marks, right? So not everything is going to count towards your final mark. So for the most part, these daily kind of worksheets are more for feedback, and then I'll let you know if something is specifically going to be marked and count towards your final mark. Okay, so that is that. Now let me just change. Yeah, okay. So voici le PowerPoint. So je vais yeah, so on va aller à travers de ceci. Ensuite, je vais vous expliquer votre première tâche d'écriture. Okay, so that first writing task is going to be something that's going to be marked. Et ensuite, je vais aussi vous présenter la première partie de votre activité cumulative. So again, there's going to be no exam in this course, but there will be a culminating activity. I know it's the first day, but we only have 2 weeks in civics and careers, and this is an assignment that will require you to do maybe a little bit each day. It's not particularly overly difficult, but it's something that will take some time. So I do like to just kind of present it to you on the first day so that you can spend the next 2 weeks kind of working on it and building on it. Okay, so une citoyenneté responsable. So qu'est-ce que la citoyenneté? So what does it mean to be a citizen? And that's kind of what this course looks like. Okay, so le civisme, notre premier 2 semaines, le cours de civisme, on regarde à qu'est-ce que ça veut dire d'être un citoyen? So what does it mean to be a citizen? Somebody who lives in society. What are your kind of responsibilities? What are your rights? Et ensuite, la deuxième moitié du cours est le cours de carrière où on va regarder vous allez faire de la recherche sur des carrières, so try and figure out what you want to do with the rest of your life. Et vous allez écrire un résumé, une lettre de présentation et faire d'autres recherches pour vous aider à décider qu'est-ce que vous allez faire. Okay, so dans ce cours, tu vas étudier comment les décisions sont prises. So you're going to look at how is it that government or people in power make decisions. Et vous allez apprendre aussi comment vous pouvez participer aux prises de décisions qui influencent la société. So what are some ways in which that you can participate in that decision-making process? Okay, so we'll just kind of skip through this quickly, but so this is kind of what we're going to look at over the course. So l'importance de ce cours, comment est-ce que les décisions sont prises, est-ce que le pouvoir est bon ou mauvais, so is it good to have power or not, comment tes désirs et tes besoins sont-ils réalisés, so how do you kind of bring about what you need, comment est-ce que les conflits sont résolus, les avantages du processus décisionnel démocratique. So what are some of the advantages of the democratic kind of decision-making process, and quelle est la définition d'un citoyen ou des citoyens responsables? So what does it mean to be a responsible citizen? Ok, so voici la section où vous pouvez remplir les tirets. So the kind of red text is what you need to fill out in for the blanks. Sur le cours d'éducation à la citoyenneté te fournira les connaissances, les habiletés et te sensibilisera aux valeurs qui t'aideront à assumer ta citoyenneté de façon responsable, avisée et dynamique. So this citizenship course will kind of give you some of the knowledge, some of the skills to kind of figure out what values will help you become a responsible, dynamic, and well-informed citizen. Découvrir comment fonctionne notre gouvernement et comment il prend les décisions qui concernent l'ensemble des citoyens et des citoyennes. So we're going to look at how the government functions, how they take decisions that affect everyone, not just the people that voted for them or the people that are voting age, right? A government decision affects everybody that lives within the country. So we're going to look at how they make some of those decisions. Reconnaître tes croyances et tes valeurs personnelles concernant la façon dont nous participons à la vie de la société. So it's important to kind of understand what your beliefs and your personal values are when it comes to how people should kind of live within society, right? So a lot of people have different opinions and different beliefs. And so it's important for you to figure out what do you think and what do you believe about society. So mettre en pratique des habiletés fondamentales propres à la citoyenneté. So try and put into practice some of those skills. Examiner les défis que représente l'engagement dans des communautés dont les membres ont souvent des points de vue différents. So we're going to look at what are some of the challenges that come along with engaging with communities whose members might have different points of view, right? So how does the government kind of represent and do what's best for the entire country when large groups of population have different ideas as to how things should operate? Et finalement, développer un esprit critique par rapport à ce que signifie pour toi être un citoyen ou une citoyenne avisé, dynamique, et responsable. So kind of developing your critical thinking skills, what it means when it comes to kind of deciding for yourself, what does it mean to be a kind of a responsible, dynamic, and well-informed citizen. Okay, so those are kind of the big ideas that we're going to cover over the course of the next 2 weeks. Okay. OK, so si on retourne au LMS ici, si on a la rencontre, so qu'est-ce que la citoyenneté? Ça, c'est notre PowerPoint qu'on a visionné. Donc, si vous devez retourner au PowerPoint pour remplir les tirets, vous pouvez suivre ce lien ici. Ensuite, une citoyenne de responsabilité est votre document de travail pour la journée. Et voici votre première tâche d'écriture. So this will be for marks. It's just a small piece of writing. So vous devez écrire un court paragraphe, environ 6 phrases, qui explique pourquoi il est important d'être un citoyen ou citoyenne active. Okay, so you don't have to do a whole lot of research here. I just want your opinion about 6 kind of complete sentences. I want you to explain to me why is it important for you or for every member in a society to be an active citizen. So that includes things like volunteering, being well informed, so being aware of what's going on in the world around us. It involves voting, right? So if you are of age to vote, it's important that you exercise your right to vote. Those kinds of things are kind of what it means to be an active citizen. It means speaking up for people that are maybe less privileged than you. If they don't have a voice, you can be their voice and help promote that. Being an active citizen also means listening to other people and their issues and trying to kind of learn from them. Okay. Ensuite, voici notre première partie pour l'activité cumulative. Si on va au document. Okay, so la justice sociale et les médias sociaux. So we're looking at social justice on social media. So ceci est un projet qui va continuer la longueur du cours de civisme. Le produit final est à votre choix. Okay, so this is, like I said, this is an ongoing project. In this case, it's ongoing for the next 2 weeks. The final product is really up to you. So this is kind of an open-ended project. If you wanted to make a short video, you can make a short video. If you want to put this together into a Word document, into a PowerPoint document, if you would like to use Sway, which is another Office 365 software, you're welcome to do that. So really, however you kind of present things to myself and Monsieur Levac is kind of whatever works best for you and your brain. Okay? So, vous allez trouver une cause, une idée, une bataille qui vous parle. Il est possible que vous soyez déjà impliqué. So I want you to find a social justice cause, idea, kind of fight that kind of speaks to you, that is important to you. It might be something that you're already involved in. So des exemples sont BLM, LGBTQ, MeToo, les peuples autochtones du Canada, les droits de vote, la réforme juridique, defund the police, égalité des genres, UBI, so Universal Basic Income, les immigrants, les réfugiés, conflits autour du monde, etc. Right, so those are all examples of kind of social justice causes. You're not limited to that list, by all means. If there's something else, just run the idea by Monsieur Levac or I, but we want it to be something that you find important. La deuxième chose, c'est faire de la recherche. So, chercher pour des ressources, des experts, des opinions sur les médias sociaux. Prenez des screenshots ou trouvez une façon de sauver les posts. Okay, so again, this is on social media. You can, whatever social media you are on, you don't have to kind of create new accounts and go to a variety of different social medias. Again, this is something kind of that you should do wherever it is that you kind of live digitally. If you have no social media presence, that's okay. Just get in touch with me, and there are some alternative options here. You can look at online newspapers, things like that, to find your information, so you don't necessarily have to get them from social media. But don't kind of go out of your way thinking, that I want you to create new accounts on social media platforms that you're not already on. I'm sure you can probably find enough where you're at. So vous allez préparer une liste de hashtags qui sont utiles. So again, hashtags that are kind of used or kind of common within your cause. Identifiez 3 individus que vous croyez sont fiables. Okay, so I want you to find 3 individuals who are kind of talking about your cause or who are trying to promote it or create change. And so I want 3 individuals that you believe are believable, are good sources of information, are not sending out misinformation or disinformation. Vous allez identifier 3 institutions que vous croyez sont fiables. So 3 institutions or groups that you believe are reliable. And then vous allez expliquer pourquoi vous les croyez. So for each of the 3 individuals, for each of the 3 institutions, I want you to tell me, what is it about them that makes them believable or reliable sources of information. And you can feel free to look at that chart that we looked at from the 2 websites, right, to help you kind of think about why those are reliable sources. Okay, la 3e section sont des actions concrètes. So, identifiez trois choses que vous, comme individu, peuvent faire. So, what are three things that you or any individual can do to help promote the cause, help foster change? What are three things that individuals can do? Ensuite, identifiez trois choses que votre communauté peut faire. So what are three things that your community can do? And community can be your neighborhood, it can be your city or your town, it can be your school community. If you are part of like a sports community, if you play hockey, if you play basketball, if you are a gymnast, you know, what can your kind of sports community do? If you are a member of an art scene, what can your art community do, right? So by community, I mean kind of small groups of like-minded people. What are three things that communities can do to help promote change? Et finalement, identifier trois choses que le gouvernement provincial ou fédéral peut faire. So what are three things that the government, either at the municipal, provincial, or federal level, can do to affect change? Okay. So, faites certain quand vous expliquez, faites certain de me donner beaucoup de détails. Okay. Même ici, quand vous identifiez qu'est-ce que vous pouvez faire, c'est là où que je veux que vous me donnez des détails et beaucoup d'informations. Okay. So this is something that you should maybe be doing a little bit each day. You're more than welcome to save it till the end, but it may end up being a bit more work than you think it is. So just be sure that you don't kind of leave this till the last minute. Okay, so voici le Dropbox pour votre document aujourd'hui. Okay, so this is for the Word document that has everything. You can submit it here. Et votre courte tâche d'écriture, vous pouvez le remettre dans ce Dropbox ici. Okay. Okay. So, c'est tout pour aujourd'hui. Est-ce que vous avez des questions? Hang on a second. Okay. Ok, so je vais rester ici pour quelques minutes. C'est tout pour aujourd'hui. Merci d'être venu. Si vous avez des questions, n'hésitez pas à envoyer un message soit à moi ou à M. Levac. Ok, c'est tout. Merci beaucoup. On va se revoir demain. I'm not on video, so I'm muted now, so you can come over here.